Hey everyone, this is the Movieman, fellow cinephile, popcorn addicts, and emerging film critic, coming to you with reliable recaps, reviews, and reactions. And listen, I am so excited to do a reaction to a series that has definitely risen through the ranks to become one of my faves. And of course, as the period drama, period piece aficionado, it just satisfies so many aspects of that for me. And then, waiting for this next season, I've just been like, whew, I've just been trying to hold on. And we finally have the first teaser for the Gilded Age, created by Julian Fellows, who of course also created Downton Abbey. There's so much more I could say, but I am just going to watch and get into it. It's a very short teaser, but look, I've been starved. So a teaser is fine. I'll take it. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Happiness is a byproduct of a well-ordered life. Our children will be among the highest-ranking people on Earth.
Well, when you set your mind on a thing, no one can stop you.
I take that as a compliment. I take that as a compliment.
Of course she does.
Marriage is a real opportunity. You can influence politics, shape events. You can have powerful, interesting lives. What more is there?
Some people want to marry for love. I know I do.
Oh, wow.
Understand. Which bit is not clear? None of it is clear.
Let's hope it doesn't come to divorce.
Nothing is as it should be.
Your mother is being dramatic.
Really? It's so unlike her.
I know, right? Woo, June 22nd. I'm so glad because, look, I think I heard something about, like, it might be coming out in summer 2025. And I'm like, look, that can mean all the way up until August. To me, like, August isn't summer, even though it is. It just kind of feels like we're getting into, like, school year and everything. It's like the summer, I think the summer in my mind is over because the school year is starting for, most people, whether they're in that field or not professionally. But yeah, so the fact that it's June, I'm like, okay, thank you. And I think it fits. Well, it depends. I know that, Newport, I think that's the summer getaway for a lot of these characters, especially the rich, wealthy characters. So it's kind of fitting for June, but I also have heard and kind of seen that there may be a Christmas episode here, which would be really exciting because we have not gotten that yet. And man, I'm gonna kind of like look and watch again just to kind of pick up some things. I'm really interested in seeing what happens with Gladys and Bertha, because that whole situation, the way that last season ended, ooh. And then again, if this is really tying into the actual Vanderbilts, then knowing what happened to Consuelo, this is going to be unfortunate. So yeah, I'm really excited to see, one of my faves, Peggy, getting a real love connection, because that BS last season, it was a no-no. Like, I understand kind of having chemistry, and even in life, we might have chemistry with some people, but if they're married or in a partnership, relationship, whatever, it's a no. So I understand they were trying to like create some scandal, but it just was like, Peggy's too good for this. Like, don't do this to her. And I think even if they had kind of like had her coming up to the line and then kind of like, all right. And then of course making the decision to go, because it's like, okay, we're gonna end up going over the line, rather than let it happen the way it did. I'm kind of glad we're moving on from that, and I'm really interested to see how that plays out. Really interested in seeing what's going to happen with Marian and Larry, because that they've kind of been in game, but it's just now starting to really happen, and they kind of look like they're into each other. So that's going to be interesting. Also, I know that Ada is running the show now because she has the money. So I'm really interested in seeing how Agnes is going to respond to that, and the answer is not well. So there are just some really interesting dynamics we're going to get here. And in addition to that, I do know that we have new cast members because I did look that up, and you know I've been staying abreast because I've been ready for the show to come back. But I looked it up, and so I was gonna do a video on it, but then of course I got busy. But we have quite a few cast members that are coming on board, so let me run that down really quickly. So I'm not used to like looking down and reading, but I have to in this case. So we have, these are all the people who are joining the show. We have Bill Camp as J.P. Morgan, the J.P. Morgan, the world famous investment banker who finds himself at odds with George Russell, of course, over the future of the railroad industry. We have Merritt Weber as Monica O'Brien, Bertha Russell's estranged sister who appears at a crucial time for the family. I've been waiting to see the sister since the first episode because I think that's when she mentions her. Maybe the first couple of episodes, if not the first. But I've been waiting for that because I can tell the sister is probably going to give Bertha the blues. And I like Bertha, but she's overdue for some additional stress. And I'm pretty sure her sister is going to remind her of that. I also have Leslie Uggams of Star Trek fame and Roots fame. She's done so much, but those are the first two things that pop up in my mind. But we have Leslie Uggams as Mrs. Ernestine Brown, Elizabeth Kirkland's friend and a member of the Black elite community in Newport. Now, I don't know why they don't have who Elizabeth Kirkland is, so I will go to that because I know who it is playing that character. None other than the Phylicia Rashad. She is joining as Mrs. Elizabeth Kirkland. She's a woman from a prominent Newport family with ties to the American Revolution. Interesting. She is described as having high standards and a sharp tongue and is unwilling to compromise her family's elite status. Her character will also be seen along Brian Stokes Mitchell. Wow. Now that I don't think I knew he was joining. If I did, I probably forgot. But he'll be playing her husband, Frederick Kirkland, a pastor of a black church in Newport. And then Jordan Donica will also occur as their son, Dr. William Kirkland. I wonder if that's who Peggy is hanging out with. I'm really intrigued to see more about that. But hopping back, we have LisaGay Hamilton as Frances Ellen Watkins Harper. 4 names. The famed black suffragist who inspires Peggy to become involved in her cause in spite of the dissenting opinions of those around her. Interesting. It's so funny. LisaGay Hamilton, my friend and I just watched her as the young Setha in Beloved, based off of Toni Morrison's novel. And yeah, she was so great in that. I mean, she's a great actress anyway, but I was reminded of that watching that film. Let's see. We also have Paul Alexander Nolan as Alfred Merrick, a dashing, wealthy New York businessman who has all the hallmarks of the old money set, elegance, refinement, and sophistication. The Russells invite him to dine at their home in the hopes of charming him into a business deal. Okay. Hattie Morahan as Lady Sarah Vere, sister to the Duke of Buckingham. Lady Sarah makes it clear that the Russells are not to their taste, or not to her taste. I'm not surprised. So that's going to be, look, see, so that's interesting. So it's going to be Bertha versus, I'm sure it's going to be other characters too. Plenty of other characters, but we have Bertha versus Lady Sarah, which is the Duke of Buckingham's sister, and then her own sister. That's going to be so interesting. Andrea Martin as Madame Dashova, a medium who claims to be able to commune with the dead. Andrea Martin, Aunt Vula from My Big Fat Greek Wedding. I am not sure if this is going to be like a gypsy thing because I've become more aware of the gypsy stereotype, but it kind of depends because if you think about these eras in time, like, you know, if you were likely only able to make a living doing certain things. So I guess it just kind of comes down to how they portray the character, but I do know that's a thing. So, but I do enjoy Andrea Martin for other things as well. But Aunt Vula's a trip, but a great character. And then lastly, we have Jessica Frances Dukes as Athena Trumbo, Dorothy, Audra McDonald's character. Dorothy's beloved first cousin and a part of an elite enclave of black residents of Newport, Rhode Island, who is pleased to host Peggy and is supportive of her writing career. Look, I am here for us continuing to expand the Black Elite storyline, and that has been such a refreshing, pleasant surprise for this show because I'm not gonna lie to you, I know a lot of my history thanks to my grandmother, especially, like, number one, but then my mother, my dad, like all my family, you know, as far as pushing me forward and learning and knowledge, history, all that kind of stuff. So I'm clear on that, but there are always blind spots and there are always things that aren't pushed to the forefront. So the Black Elite had no clue. And I appreciate the fact that Julian Fellows, for him to be an elderly British man, for him to recognize, like, look, I don't know anything about this, so let's bring in some people, let's bring in the historians, let's bring in the people who know what this world is and to flesh it out. I have so much respect for him for that. And I feel like a lot of times that's all you need. It's like you can have the vision, but bring in the people who understand, like, how this really works from actual, you know, from the people who understand the world, Black people, or, you know, if we're talking about another culture and another show, you know, have some input. I'm not saying there aren't white writers that can't do a good job, but when it comes to Black representation and Black stories, please let there be the involvement of Black people. That's just all that it is. That's something that's just not going to change for me. But yes, like seeing all these characters and all these great actors, I am hyped. I really, really am. It's just like the more I read, I'm just like, man, we're going to have some stuff going on. I really hope it's a 10 episode season. It just seems like the number 8 has become the thing. And it's just like, my best friend and I are also watching Desperate Housewives. And we watch, like, maybe every time we hang out, we probably watch 3 to 4 episodes because it's like a 22, 23 episode season. It's just like, how have we fallen so far? I understand, like, 24. I'm not saying it has to be 24, but can we get like 12? Like, just can we get beyond 8? I understand a story can work within 8, but give us something to work with. I don't even mind an episode that's a little fillery, as long as we get like some plot progression, but we don't even get that. But again, I'm gonna hope for the best. I'm excited for this season. For anyone who is new or seeing this, you know, me for the first time, please feel free to check out my recaps on the Gilded Age. I've done all of season 1 and all of season 2. Also believe I did the reaction to the teaser for season 1 and a whole bunch of episode recaps. So please feel free to check that out. Let me know what you think. Are you excited for this season? Whose story are you excited to see evolve? And yeah, like, tell me, you know, just give me some dialogue as far as the show, what you love about it, what you'd like to see more of, what could be improved, so on and so forth. And yeah, I'm really, as you can tell, I'm more than ready for this to air. So, once again, this is D, Movieman, signing off, and I'll see you with the movies.